two kids from Queens, cut from a different cloth. Now, joining forces, helping you to elevate your personal brand. Yeah, I'm talking about Nicky and Moose, bringing you a never-before-seen perspective into the mindset, the mentality, the behaviors, the driving force, but more importantly, the stories behind the people and brands that you know and love the most.
Was poppin'. Welcome, Nicky and Moose. I'm Nicky. That's Moose. What's up, Moose?
What up, y'all?
And welcome to the YouTube Livey. First and foremost, shout out to everybody who's watching this live, watching this replay. We appreciate you. The new episode 87 dropped today, aka May. Are we still in May? Yes. May 31st. Okay. So go check that out. It's pretty much talking about the struggles of a CEO, a creator. Is there balance? There's a lot of talk about imposter syndrome, selling, how confident are we in selling, the creator and CEO struggle, celebrating losses. There's a lot we talk about in this episode. Go check it out. All right, just it's heavy. I already got feedback. They said the people are saying that it's fire. The people are saying that it's a good look. The content's great. I'm just like, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I saw the clip that you said put up as the recap to the convo, and I was like, wow. Yeah, I play them back actually more recent now. Like usually when we would record, I would just be like, okay, nope, recorded, done, no more. Now I find myself going back and listening like, yo, you need to learn from some of the stuff that y'all be talking about. It's like,
these are facts.
You need to be doing this too.
These are facts. I'm just saying. Moose, how are we feeling?
Man, pretty good. It was 94 degrees today in New York. I have not seen this type of heat in quite some time here. I'm not gonna lie. So it caught me by surprise. We was burning up out here, which was a little crazy. But other than that, things are great. There's a lot going on, and I'm grateful for it all. So I can't complain.
Okay. Check your mic for me real quick. One time for the one time.
Mic check.
Sounds like you're on your AirPods. But it's all good. Shout out to Trucking from Scratch. I see you. Listen, drop where you are watching this from, whether you're watching this live or the replay. We would love to know everything about you guys, really, but definitely where you're located. I don't want to rely on, let's say, YouTube stats to tell me where you guys are from. All right, so just drop where you're from real quick for us. Everybody, and shout out to Kat. She's like, guns out. Listen, I just feel like wearing my jersey today. You know what I mean? I just feel like wearing my jersey today. That's all. It's summertime. Is it officially summer yet?
I mean, it sure feels like it. It sure does feel like it. It was hot and spicy out here today. So yeah. What's the count? Is it June 21st? June 21st is the official start, or is it May 21st? I forget.
I don't know.
Wasn't the best in science.
Y'all go live weekly? We do. Every week, Tuesday at this time.
8 p.m.
You know what I mean? Just
crazy.
A little light work. Just a little white work. Look, real quick, seeing New York, Chicago, Indianapolis, New York in the building again. Who else we got? San Francisco, Denver. Okay, all right. I see y'all. Moose, what we talking about today?
Man, well, listen, if y'all have been paying attention to anything, whether it be social media, even the news, you're going to hear something of some sort about a recession. And it's like, there's a recession happening. The markets are this, the markets are that. Even if you're not paying attention to any of those things, you've been to the supermarket lately, you've been to the gas station lately, something should tell you that there's some things happening out in the streets that are not normal, right? With prices rising and everything going into shambles, that it's important for us to start thinking about, okay, even if I don't know what a recession really is, or I don't know what some of this stuff may mean, because of everyone's panic and fear and the things that are happening, what does this mean for me as a content creator, someone who is a creative entrepreneur, or even an online business owner? How would some of these reactions to the market, these inflation prices, these increased gas prices, all of these different things that you hear people talking about, how would that impact my life as someone who uses digital media or social media to make a living? So when the pandemic happened during COVID-19, no one really knew what was going on, right? And quite honestly, we were amongst them in the beginning, right? We kind of were like, not sure. We're like, I don't know, maybe we just got to chill and kind of wait this out and see what happens. They're saying it could be 2 weeks, maybe it's a month, but we'll be out here pretty soon. It's not going to be a big deal. And before you know it, some people just panicked, did nothing. Others came up with an entire game plan and made up 10, 15 years worth of time in just a quick glance, really just jumped on the horn. So I'm seeing the landscape and things happening in the marketplace, and I'm like, yo, the same thing is about to happen, similar to what happened in COVID. And if we're not preparing ourselves, our brands, our online strategies, all of these things, we're going to miss out on yet another opportunity, or God forbid, take a hit and get something swiped right from underneath us because we weren't paying attention, or we were too afraid of what the headlines were saying. Because a lot of the headlines, that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to pump fear into your minds that the world is going to end and forget about it, right? But there is opportunities and moments like this. So the landscape, the conversation, we're not here to talk necessarily stocks or financial stuff. That's not really our stuff. But specifically for content creators, creative entrepreneurs, people who are in the online space who use this to make a living, whether it be your mini side hustle, your full-time thing, something that is on the rise, whatever it is, you got to start thinking about, what am I going to do either differently or more of should an official recession hit the market here in the States? So I just want us to conversate on that, Nix, and really start thinking about that together. Of course, talk through some of our strategies. Of course, if there are any questions from people who are tapped in, maybe we can answer some of those live as well. But before we get started, do me a favor, y'all. I said I'm going to be doing this a lot more consistently. Share this with a few people who you think need to hear this right now, because it is so important that we stop running away from tough conversations or difficult headlines that may penetrate some fear into our hearts, and we start showing up at the table and saying, all right, hey, I don't know that much, but can you educate me? Can you answer this question for me? And let's start bridging the gap, because I do believe there's going to be some incredible opportunity for us, but only if we study and only if we prepare. So yeah, Nix, I don't know how you feel about it, but are you paying attention to this talk about a possible recession, anything like that? And as you think about it, what would you think that you might start doing differently or more of, should the landscape start sliding and we start seeing some of these things hit the wall?
So I treat this talk like it's the pandemic, right? The same kind of vibes. Understanding that some people are not going to be in the thought process of buying stuff, right? So this is going to be the season of giving value. And this is going to be the season of just serve as much as you can, because that's what people remember, right? So it's different, because some people, they're not even feeling the recession. Some people are. The in-between of trying to take care of both is just adding value. So the content that you provide should make them feel at ease, make them feel safe, right? And make them feel as if this is a normal situation that they're going through. Meaning, not that the recession is normal, but what they're feeling is normal. Like the worry, the confusion, that's all normal in this season. Now, what are we doing to combat it? right? And this all is different content within each of the industries, right? So what I talk about is going to be different than what Moose talks about, what somebody who sells shirts talks about, I don't know, a life coach, whatever it is. Every industry is going to do this differently. I use the example of Alex Good Energy, right? For those who don't know him, he's like number one in the trucking game. And we had a conversation, and he was like, look, we're in a recession. We're about to hit a recession. And so those sales may be a little bit low, right? This is where I just pour into the people. This is where I may go live more. This is where you're going to see more just organic content from me. Just seeing me connect with the people more, because that burns in people's head longer than those who have been continuously trying to milk out as much money from them as they still have it, right? A lot of people are thinking about, okay, cutting out certain things. You should be a brand they don't cut out at all. We always find resources to have what we want, period. So we should be a brand that is what people want and need. And that's one of the major things that I learned in the pandemic is, how do you become a brand that people need? How are you essential in these times? And if you're not, you're going to get passed as just one of those fees or services that can wait until you have the proper bread or the proper time. So it's right now about, how do I make the brand a need more than just something cool to look at, life goals. That's where I want to go one day. That's who I want to be one day. No, that's what you need to be at this moment to survive in these difficult times.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on the idea? And I don't know if it's a culture thing. I don't know if it's a demographic thing or just the age that we're in. A lot of us are a lot more financially conscious, meaning that we understand the importance of making money, investing money, saving money, having our time or freedom or control of our time. That is of importance for a lot of people, I'm sure, who are listening to this, who might be catching a replay. That's important. So on the business end, you almost feel some pressure to make sure that the people or the thing that you're doing is helping people to fill that need or that void of feeling like your resource, your service is going to help them make hundreds and thousands and millions and whatever dollars, right? But the one thing that I want to remind people of right now, and I want you to speak to this too, Nick, from your perspective, is don't fall into the pressure of thinking that what you do needs to promise big dollar dreams to every audience, customer, potential customer, or client of yours. Yep. You do not need to do that, right? Because quite honestly, not every single business model is going to follow through on that. So, I'm always big on credibility and protecting credibility at all costs. So you don't want to almost jump on a trend because people are going to be more financially conscious during this time. And you just start marketing to that desire, having no real idea if whether or not you can fulfill that promise. Maybe you can to some extent, but don't put yourself in a situation where you have to try to do something that you can't honestly either do consistently or to the level of what you promised, because that's the quickest way to find yourself out of business. Aside from that, and in addition to this, not every solution needs to be a moneymaker. Some of it can be a money saver, right? Maybe something like the solution, the product, the service that you're bringing to the market doesn't necessarily help people to make more money, like generate income, but maybe it helps them to save some money. Maybe it helps them to gain a little bit more peace of mind, or they don't have to do physical labor or time on task where they're, say, doing things manually, right? So don't feel the pressure to conform, that the only way I can be online or make money online is if I'm helping people generate thousands and hundreds and millions of dollars. That's not the case for everybody. There are some services or some brands that I believe can still survive if they just stay true to themselves and say, hey, I'm not the moneymaker guy. I am the gain mental clarity guy, or I am the guy who, whatever those things may be, there is value in those things. So Nick, what's your take on that? Because like I said, I know people respond to it, but should everyone jump on it? I think that's questionable.
Jump on if they're a money type person?
Like to the promise of I'm going to help you make more money. I'm going to help you make more this. I'm going to help you make more that.
So maybe it's who I follow. I don't necessarily follow too many people that promise that. There's a small group, yeah, but there's a lot more brands that I find valuable that don't promise me a money return. They promise me a balance return. Meaning life balance, right? They promise me an entertainment kind of guarantee. Like I'm instantly going to feel relieved watching their stuff, either through laughter or just stress relief or something like that, right? I follow brands that kind of guarantee a deep process, like just thought process of just thinking, right? I don't necessarily follow those brands that always, are marketing that kind of results. So there are brands like that, but there are so many other brands that are guaranteeing other stuff that it just depends on possibly the season that you're in. If you're in a season of where you are searching to make a quick buck, now all of a sudden you're finding these different officers. Grr. Why did I say grr? That was weird. But
wow,
the offers.
Okay.
Don't mind me.
That's hilarious.
But you might find all these different offers and different brands that are going to say, hey, this is what I did and this is how much I made. Let me show you the steps of how it did that, right? Right now, I invested in learning about YouTube. Not because they said, yo, we've made this amount on YouTube. It was, yo, this is the impact that we've created. And these are the multiple channels that we've created over and over and time again. And there's a system to this success. Not saying a dollar amount. God, why am I talking like this? This is horrible, right?
Yeah, we got to warm up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Do a little jaw muscle flex.
Listen, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but it is what it is, right? So for me, I don't find that you need to have a brand in order to survive right now by saying, yo, I can make you money or I can save you money. No, not even. I think saving is good.
Yeah.
Just the make you money situation, I don't think you need to do that. I don't think you need to do that just in general. There's brands that do that, but I don't think there's so many other brands that don't do that, that leave it to them.
Still okay. Yeah. No, and with that, as we say, and shout out to everyone who's checked in, man. I see us, see a lot of people tapping in with us. So I imagine this is a hot topic. Share this. I said it in the email. Share this with your business partners. If you got a business partner, they need to be on here with you. You need to be like, hey, let's pull up to this live because we talking about some good talk right now. This is going to be beneficial to you. But what was I going to say? As far as the make money and us becoming financially conscious, with that, we're also becoming conscious of other things. You mentioned one of them, balance, work-life balance. People are mindful of that, right? Yeah. Their spirituality and their faith, people are mindful of that. So I love this era that we're in because we're not getting distracted as easily about the next shiny object. I'm not saying we never were, we all made the mistake of jumping from one ship to another, trying to do a lot of different things to see what's going to stick. But I think we're finally getting to a time where we're just maturing in our spirit and our being, and we're recognizing that yes, money's important, but there are also other things that are important. So for you as a service provider, someone who has a product, someone who has an online business, you're a content creator, I really want you to ask yourself that question, man, what is it that people really come to me for? And how can I double down on it further? It's a second question. I don't want to make it seem like it's one continuous statement. How can I double down on it further so that people don't see that I'm desperate, or they don't feel that as though I'm desperate for money because there's a recession and I need to bring in more cash, or I need to do this to survive? At the end of the day, you got to remember this about people or potential clients and customers. They do not give a dang about your business. Right? Like if you really are going to build a sustainable business, you got to get in the mindset of, I'm doing this and I'm out of the support phase. The support phase, you know, that phase when you first get started and people are buying things from you just because they like you. Right? That's the phase where people are still like, okay, cool. Like, oh, that's cool. You just started. That's really encouraging. I want to just give you a pat on the back so you keep going. If you're going to be a sustainable business that can survive a recession or anything that comes with it, you got to get out of the support phase. And one of the things about helping you to get out of the support phase that you need to realize is that people don't care about your business or your bottom line. They care about how what you do impacts their life. What does it bring? What kind of benefit or value does it bring to their lives? How does it enrich what they're doing? Right? So anytime you do something that makes people feel that desperation, that's a red flag to your customers. So you want to be mindful of that during that, just that approach. Let's jump in a different era or a different direction just because this came to my mind. What about people who are on the fence and thinking about starting right now? Right? Because there's some level of, I imagine, intimidation. It's like, okay, wait, I'm about to start a business in the recession? Right? Like somebody who's just thinking about whether it be creating their first piece of content or possibly registering their LLC or their S Corp or getting a website up or just finally taking that leap of faith to get started with their creative entrepreneurship journey or their content creation or anything like that.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Would you tell people, hey, not right now, wait, it's a little hot right now, it's about to get crazy, wait till it cools down? What's your advice for someone who is just starting or thinking about starting?
No, I think it's fine to start. You have to understand that, once again, not everybody's feeling the recession, right? There's still a group of people who need your products, your services, just your content in general, right? So there isn't ever really a bad time to start a brand or a business or to start creating content. There may be a time where you need to be cautious about selling maybe high ticket items, right? And just being aware of the climate and how people are buying their stuff at the moment. You may need to be aware of that. But at the end of the day, especially if you are trying to monetize, we find ways to pay for what we want and what we need. So if you are an amazing storyteller, if you have super passion at what you're doing and you can articulate exactly the value of your brand, there's no right or wrong time to start it. There's not a perfect situation. There's never going to be a perfect situation. There's shootings now. There's still people catching COVID. There's so many things happening in the world. There's never really a perfect time to launch anything.
Yeah.
You just have to do it.
Yeah, that's good. I agree with that. And I think for those of you who may sometimes feel that you're not as consistent as you'd like to be, or for whatever reason you may not have that extra burst of motivation or energy that you want, you can actually capitalize, almost do like some reverse psychology stuff on yourself right now, because your back is going to be up against the wall.
Right.
Right. Some of the things, and this is not a fear stuff, right? Like I more than anything is super optimistic about moments like this, and preparing people, not warning them or trying to scare them off. So it's not a scare tactic, but it's always helpful when you know what to expect with the era that you're about to enter. And I love the approach that you're taking on it, Nix, too, because you're saying like, yo, just because the news is talking about it doesn't mean every single person in this country or in the world feels it. Like, yeah, it's real. It's a real situation. But the most people who are going to feel it are often the ones who are at the bottom.
Right.
You're the one who's closest to the fire. You're going to feel it the quickest because you're closer to the heat, right? So what you can expect during moments of recession is a lot of cutbacks, even some layoffs, right? So if you're still employed, and because you care about your creative journey or your personal brand and your content creation, all that stuff, if you're still employed, you can expect that employers might look to start cutting your hours, possibly even talking layoffs, right? And we've talked about the importance of utilizing your 9-to-5 or your employer to help you fund your dream. I've talked about my company, what I've used. I literally called it the Dream Supply because I wanted it to fund the dreams of myself and others. Nicky has talked about her career and her time in the tech world and how she used that to fund what she's doing now. So we're for those of you who are still in that time, but you almost want to mitigate all risk or all things that could possibly get you away from what you have right now that's allowing you to create, even if it's a little bit of content, even if it's serving just 1 or 2 clients or customers, even if it's just shipping 1 or 2 products, right? Whatever it is, you want to protect that and mitigate against all risk. So be mindful of, okay, do I need to make sure that they're recognizing my value at work so I'm not let go of, and that could possibly mess up what I'm trying to build out here, right? That part of it is important too. You want to think about it in almost a holistic viewpoint. So mitigate your risk wherever necessary so that no big setback can wipe out the dream or this thing that you're trying to build on this side, because this is a you versus you scenario. This is all you. You gotta make sure you're dedicated to that. But to speak to the point about those of you who are on the fence or possibly thinking about jumping in, I think it's a great time to do it. I think it's a great time to do it. It's a great time to do it because these big market shifts create a lot of opportunity. They create a tremendous amount of opportunity. What Nicky's saying about people don't always feel the recession, and even those who do feel it and they're experienced in business, here's what you can expect from them. They know that one of the best ways to get through a recession is to invest more into your business. So I guarantee you, there are some people out there who are looking for something helpful, tangible, that can help protect them from whatever the recession may bring, whatever it may be. They're like, hey, I got some cash right now. I don't know what the future may hold, but if I can do something today that can protect me against what the recession will bring down the line, I want to invest. I want to be proactive. So good business people are doing that right now. They're not hoarding cash. They're actually looking to spend cash. Like they're looking to invest cash. So for you as someone coming into the marketplace, if you can really position yourself correctly, you're going to have a phenomenal or tremendous opportunity to capitalize on some of that extra cash that's in the marketplace because people are looking to invest, not necessarily pull back. So I think it's always a great time. I mean, of course, we're going to advocate this. This is what this whole show is about. It's helping you jumpstart this creative journey. So we're not going to be out here and be like, hey, don't do it, right? But no, certainly if those things line up for you and you're mindful of what is keeping the lights on for you and you're really making sure you're adding value there so that, God forbid, anything happens on that side, it doesn't rattle the boat for you to take you out of what you're trying to build on the side. It's always a great opportunity to capitalize on these moments and keep it going. Now, I want to talk content as well. I know you mentioned Alex and, his approach with content. We saw that with the pandemic, content was saturated, but also it was in such high demand because people had so much more time. So yes, there were a lot more people who were jumping into the social media world and creating content and putting things out there. But we also saw that people were consuming content at record high numbers because we had no time, or we had more time, I should say, right? People were sitting around and just kind of like, okay, yeah, let me see what's out there. Yeah. So in a different world, in this world now, we're entering a tough spot. But the time scenario, like, we don't expect the world to shut down. I mean, for the most part, everything is still open, right? So I'm curious, like, and this is not the question, but it just came to my mind. Like, if an app like Clubhouse would have launched right now, would it have been as popular as it did during the pandemic? And it's a time factor. Like, people don't have that same level of time. So it's like,
we outside. We outside.
That's what I'm saying, right? Yeah. So from a content standpoint, taking that into consideration, how does the content strategy vary, right? Is it more quality content, targeted content, or is it like flood the streets, pump, and just make sure you're being seen?
So I would have to say the flood the streets one, right? Okay. Just because, I mean, because of the pandemic, we were already used to looking at a lot of content, right? Now with the recession coming, we're looking for relief. And the more that they see your face over and over again, the more they see your content, there's still going to be some type of relief because it's a familiar face every single time you jump on, right? So the once in a while thing is just not going to work. It doesn't work on a regular basis, and it's definitely not going to work when people are seeking some sense of safety and familiar vibes. So this is where you're like, okay, how I'm going to win is making sure they see me all the time. And being realistic with your schedule without super burnout, but you're challenging yourself at least. You know what? Let me up one. If I'm doing, 4 times a week, let me up it by 5. And let me be consistent on some type of story form, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, whatever you have. TikTok has stories. Whatever it is. Now, once again, stay safe with the burnout situation, right? I don't want you to OD, but find that piece of content that you have no problem showing up on. I always say 3:47 in the morning, if I wake you up, what type of content will you create? Video, audio, written, picture. At 3:47 with cold in your eye, like bad breath, all that great stuff. What can you create if I say, yo, your people are waiting for you right now? Right now. What are you going to do? And do that. Because it's the same kind of urgency. It's the same urgency. Just different times.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. I'm going to take a page out of E's book for a moment here, but I can't stress the importance of your decisions right now, too. Super critical. I like what Kurt put up in the chat a little earlier. He said, if you delay, you'll miss the pay. Like, that's a decision. Choosing not to put yourself out there, or choosing not to take a step, or choosing to wait, that's a decision. So decisions are critical, right? Your decisions are critical right now. And like I said, the one thing that I like to do, especially when I see what's happening, one of my favorite things especially is to diversify, right? And I'm a big component of diversifying. Some people are completely against it, and whatever you choose is for you, but I just want to at least expose you to different sides of it, so you know that you don't have to necessarily go all into one thing or one method, because diversity is an option, or diversifying is an option. Excuse me, not diversity, but diversifying, right? And when I say diversifying, I mean, if you're going to focus on, say, social strategy, right? Social can be social media, and it can also be like social life, meaning actual, tangible, in-person events or some form of in-person networking that happens to build connections both online and offline. So you can diversify your strategy in that way, right? If you feel like, hey, I'm better in person and I want to build my confidence on camera so that I can create more content, well, use what you do have as you work that confidence piece so that you can start showing up more on camera to be able to create more content, right? So don't overly rely on one thing that people don't know you or people don't ever get an opportunity to meet you and shake your hand and get to know you. So you can, and I highly recommend it. Like I said, this is something that I am a fan of. You notice, and I'm getting in the rhythm of it, of starting to share a little bit more. But I'm also going to an event. I'm going to the fundraising dinner that I talked about some time back. It's tomorrow. So I'm going to the fundraising dinner tomorrow. A few people in the room who I'll be able to network and meet with and see how we can serve and help accelerate the mission that we're after. I'm going to another meeting Thursday, another one Saturday, right? Invest in those moments because those are partnerships that will eventually manifest into something, right? But if you're home or if you don't have an outlet to be able to connect with people, there's no opportunity cannot find you if you're nowhere to be seen. You're nowhere online. You're nowhere in person. You're nowhere. So it's like, man, that's going to be tough, right? So part of it is diversifying your strategy to say, okay, I'm going to be online. I'm going to be intentional about going to maybe a few networking events, or I'm going to make certain calls or emails to connect with these types of people because it's going to be helpful. Now, for anyone who's watched any sort of training on networking, you'll know that the best networkers don't reach out to you when they need something from you. That's the quickest way to get curved. It's like I hadn't talked to Nicky in 5 years. I called, hey, Nicky, man, been so long. So listen, forget about it. Well, if that's a voice note, if that's an email, if that's a call, she's going to doze off. Like, yo, it's the first time you call me in 5 years and you instantly want something. I don't know that I can necessarily be of any help to you right now. It doesn't feel genuine.
Facts.
So be proactive in those connections right now so that you can be exposed or not exposed, but building connections with people where they could be like, okay, yep, I appreciate this, right? This person's been in contact with me. They've been touching base with me. You're going to spend the time anyway, right? You might spend it doing meaningless things. You might be scrolling on Instagram. You might be doing something that isn't always of the most value. So take a couple minutes, schedule some time blocks to be able to connect with people. Real intentional connections. Check in, because that stuff can be super helpful.
I agree. I'm being intentional with relationships and connecting with people more and more.
Yeah.
A little bit out of my comfort zone. A little bit. But I think it will play a longer game doing that. And especially, it doesn't hurt to just, I could text people all day. Yo, you good? You all right? How you feeling? Da-da-da-da. It's the we hanging out part that I'm like, oh, okay, I got to go outside. All right. Okay, we can do that. But the just hitting up people, seeing what they need. There's one person, I'm not going to say their name, that I'm intentional now with, yo, what do you need help with? What do you need help with? Yo, I really don't know. Okay, I'm going to be on your head pretty much every week. See what you need help with.
Till you find out. Yeah.
Till you find out. Like, I'm not saying, like, I'm going to be the one that's going to help you, but I could possibly find the person that could help you, right? There's no, you got to speak to people with no, what is it, alternative motive?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. You don't want to do that. You honestly just sometimes want to just check in on them. You honestly just want to see what they need help with and see if you could provide that. If not, finding the people who can provide that. Because that goes a long way, you know? And it's more about the person and the relationships rather than, you know, what you can do for them or what they can do for you. Yesterday, I went live because I talked about, hey, I just checked on my text community. Yo, you good? Are you resting? It's a day off. Are you resting? Are you not? And I had a few conversations with them. Shout out to my text community. But I had a few conversations with them just to see how they are. Didn't want anything, nothing like that. It wasn't a like, okay, cool. All right, now I got deeper than the brand. Boom, why don't you join if you want a deeper, like, it wasn't that. It was just, yo, you good? You resting? I'm glad you rested. That's it. Nothing else.
Yeah.
And it's good when you have an audience, when you have a following, that you just check up on people with no motive, with just pure, genuine intentions and care of, yo, how are you?
Yeah, yeah. It goes a long way, man. It goes a long way. It's incredibly important. And one of the things that will help, a reminder to myself, a reminder to those of you listening, one of the things that will help with that is stop thinking that this is a side hustle. Start looking at this as a career. Stop, because when you're in side hustle moments, you're just kind of like, you're just fighting a good fight. You're just trying to keep the lights on just for another day. You're trying to make a good bike or a quick buck to move on to the next thing. When you start looking at what you're doing as a profession or as a career, like, hey, I'm a professional photographer. I am a professional online content creator. I'm a professional business consultant. I'm like, really think about like, yo, and we talked about this on the podcast, if you were hired and you worked for someone to do this role that you do for yourself online, how would you move differently? You can't just show up whenever you want it. You can't just leave whenever you want to. You can't do lousy work and expect to get paid, right? It's a different level when you start to look at it as a career. So one of the things that comes with people who are professionals or who look at themselves as professionals and they have a career that they're responsible to, it's not the corporate jargon that I'm trying to get you attached to. It's more of, they understand that this is going to be a lifelong situation. This is going to be a lifelong journey that I'm going to be a part of. So I need to nurture relationships. I need to maybe be mindful of not burning bridges. I need to be humble. I need to practice humility and not, maybe because I catch a good season, I start flexing and thinking I'm better than everybody. And then you take an L, get back like, oh, shoot, hey, man, I ain't mean to do you like that. You know, it's like, I learned my lesson. It's like, bro, as a professional, you know the importance of those things. So not for the sake of corporate, but take some time to practice and think about or even study, what are those professional ethics that they're taught in corporate world that I can benefit from as a personal brand? Because quite honestly, it's going to be refreshing when people deal with you and you operate as an independent business owner, online content creator, creative entrepreneur, whatever it may be, and your clients receive that professional touch. Oh, you show up on time? Wow, thank you. Oh, you have the timely responses and the, like the can be just like that professionalism that they expect from big business. When you give that to them as a small business, they're going to stick with you forever because now there's a personal touch. I don't have to just give my money to some big corporation that I have no idea what's happening there. I can give my money to Nicky where there's a personal touch, there's a personal connection. And truth be told, I feel like she cares about me a little bit more because she's following through on those small steps. So we can learn from big corporations and take some of those moves into our day-to-day moves or our day-to-day lives, especially as it relates to this online business that we're talking about, so that people can start to take you seriously and start to respect and appreciate you and have those genuine connections. So I think that's a good point, Nick. So I'm glad you mentioned that piece, like just being that genuine, connecting, like letting people know, like, hey, I'm here. How you feeling? What's the word? And there is no sale offer coming after it. It can be just as genuine and we leave it at that. It doesn't always have to be for some, I don't know, benefit to you or your business.
Yeah, leave that to the marketers. Shout out to the marketers who will check on you and then offer you, I don't know, anything, just a cup of water for like $3. Shout out to them. Let me answer this question real quick because somebody asked, talk about how to start a text community to prepare this upcoming recession. Start. I wish I can give you like a deeper answer. There's several services that you could check. I always say I use Community, and there's Superphone, which is created by Ryan Leslie, and you just start giving out your number that they provide, not your real number, and make sure that there is a more of a you presence in the text community rather than what they always get from social media. Because now they're trusting you with their time outside of social media as well as their number. And so I've seen, and I've been on a lot of text communities that just flood you with sales stuff, right? Every single time they need something, they'll hit you, right? You want to give a balance of give and receive, and do a little bit more giving than you receive, right? So for like my text community, I'll do some content ideas. I'll talk about the podcast. So Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we're talking about the podcast, right? Content ideas. Once in a while, once in a blue moon, and somebody in my tech community can tell you, I may offer something that you could buy if I find the season right, once in a while, but rarely. Like we did the summit, talked about the summit. That's it. Like, so you just, golden rule, treat others as you'd like to be treated. That's it. So if you were in the text community, how would you like to be treated in the text community? Do that for them. And make sure that people know about your text community. Give them an incentive to join it. I say, look, if you do hashtag content, I'm going to give some content ideas from here and there. Point blank, period. You don't have to pay for anything. I'm going to give whatever day it is, tell you what national day it is, a different content idea, and keep it moving.
Yeah.
It is.
That's cool. That's really cool. Good stuff. Yeah. I want to touch on this other thing too, because especially when, even if you were to just take like the most basic book of how to survive a recession, everyone is going to tell you, or something, Google, somewhere, it's going to talk about cutting back on expenses, or cutting back on unnecessary expenses, or not spending as much, right? So I personally, I follow and believe in that as well, right? Like I'm not against investing. I will always really think about the difference between an investment and just an additional expense, but I'm not swiping the card as quickly or as regularly as I normally would, right? I'm kind of like being a little bit more mindful of it, because my mistake in the past was, and this is why you need a good accountant, or you, even if you don't like numbers, you should think like do some level of basic education around accounting. Is I used to think, well, oh, it's a write-off. Oh, I'm going to do this because it's a write-off. Oh, I'm going to do that because it's a write-off. Oh, if I do this at the end of the year, guess what? I don't got to pay it in taxes. Well, if the government's going to take it, I'm just going to swipe it.
I just did that move. I just did.
Yeah.
This is all going to change. I'm just going to put that out there.
Yeah. And then you come at the end of the year, and then you have some conversations with your accountant. They're like, oh yeah, that's a shareholder distribution. And you're like, a shareholder what? What is that? I thought it was a write-off. And they're like, no. That doesn't count as a write-off for your business code. All right. Now, I'm not trying to get all accounting on you, but I'm telling you, if you are already up and running, you want to start thinking about and learning the difference between what expenses count as write-offs for your business and what expenses that you're swiping your card under, thinking that you're going to get some level of forgiveness on, but at the end of the year, you're still paying taxes on it. So I made that mistake. I've suffered from it. And my mentality now is it's okay if I have, say, extra money at the end of the month or at the end of the year, more importantly, at the end of the year, because I'd rather save some of those dollars and dump them into an investment opportunity, anything, right? I spent $4,000 on equipment at the end of the year last year, and it improved my workflow. It improved the internet. Y'all know you always used to make fun of me about my crappy internet. It wasn't my internet. It was my freaking computer. Well, guess what? I got a new computer, and that actually helped both the taxes situation and my workflow.
Praise God.
So, yeah, what a blessing. Now, same thing I'm saying to you, right? Think about how you spend your money right now. You want to call it invest, expend, whatever it is. Think about that and be a little bit more educated on taxes, because not everything is a write-off.
For me,
Go ahead.
No, for me.
Like, yeah, it's a write-off.
Listen, you can create content from it. It's a write-off. That's what I'm realizing. I'm trying to get the Rolex to make it a write-off too. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Wow.
I'm
like,
trying.
The way you make content actually, see what you do
for
is
real. So low key, high key, but low key. There is this content creator that shows her food, but shows her watch. Right? Every single time you see, like, she's eating, you see both, right? To the point where she's gotten certain sponsorships from watches and things like that. But I was watching a conference and they're like, yo, if this is part of your content, why is it not a write-off? I went to my new tax dude real quick. Hello, you said no. Is this a yes now? He's like, I'm gonna look into it. Okay, all right.
Wow.
All right. So like, I'm making some changes with the background, right? And I gave in to the containers, right? But I got a doper color. I don't want to do clear, and I had to buy like 27 cases.
Pretty penny.
It's a write-off. I have to remind myself.
Yeah,
It's a write-off because it's in the content. You feel me? So it's like, I'm okay. I'm all right. It's not everything I do is a write-off, but if it's in my content, that
going for it.
Yeah. It hurt my feelings for a second though. I was like, what?
Wow.
What in the world?
Wow.
From some containers? People go to my IG stories. You'll get a peek of it.
Oh, you got them already?
I had to get a sample piece, right? I had to get a sample, so I got like, I say 6 of them. No, two sets of 6. I think whatever. It's a good amount, right?
Yeah.
Covers like a little bit of 2 rows, a little bit like halfway, right? It looks very nice. I was like, all right, I'm sold.
I'm down.
And then I saw the checkout, and made me question life. Just made me like, I don't even buy that many sneakers anymore. Like, this is my old life. I'm supporting my old life right now. Like, it was a lot of conversations happening. It was
Funny thing is I find so funny about you is that you'll know, like, damn, that's a lot. I'm like, all right, here you go. I'm gonna pay for it. It's like, yo,
listen,
you who was it? A lot. Why'd you do it?
Yeah, Carl was like, oh, you are committed. Like, you are committed. I'm like, yeah. If it gotta look this way, like this side right now, I wish I could show, right? Fire. I'm gonna have some really dope light. Fire. When this is all set up, fire. But yeah, to get it this way, I remember looking at those prices before and I was like, E. Now I look at those prices, I still say E, but I could get it, but I'm just like, yeah. I could be
Different types of
once
problems,
again,
y'all. Different types of problems.
I could be hooked on drugs, but I'm not. That's how I look at it.
Good habits. Good habits.
Yeah, I could be hooked on drugs and alcohol, and I'm not. I'm just. I'm a recovering sneakerhead. I don't even buy it that much. If it's not blue, I'm really not buying it. If it's not blue or like a fire colorway, like I don't need the basics no more. I have a lot of basics.
You got them all.
Yeah, I got a lot of basic. I got a lot of fire too. But I don't know how we got here. But because of the write-off, because of what I spent.
Yeah, the write-off conversation. Write-off conversation. Yeah, y'all be mindful of those write-offs, man. Save a couple extra dollars if you can. Even just a practical tip, I went through, cut out all of the subscriptions that I'm no longer using. Like I had Netflix and Amazon Prime. I'm like, bro, like it's not that serious. Like you can cut one of those out, right? So again, simple little things that you can do that will help. All right. Don't want to throw the whole kitchen sink at y'all here, but different things that you could do that I'm telling you will help just to practice good financial habits and all that stuff, because they are super important, especially while we're on the topic of recession. Nick's final question for you, and we could close. I know we're at just a couple minutes out.
What's that?
But you always tend to test or try different things from time to time.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you're thinking about that you might possibly test should we enter an official recession? Can we expect, I don't know, what was we joking about one time, like those exclusive getaways? Remember we talked about that, like something to include, like a exclusive getaway as part of the training. Or maybe that wasn't you. I feel
was
like it was you, though.
what?
It wasn't with
What
you? I was gonna say, I thought it was
training?
you. I don't know.
Where are we going? I would like to go, but where are we
Yeah,
going?
it's a write-off. It's a
Listen, if we make it into business
right. No,
on the
that's a
first
fact.
day and the last day,
Now that's a fact.
the whole thing's a
That's a fact.
write-off.
Now that is
I have a
absolutely
whole
factual.
tax course that's telling
Yeah.
me what's a write-off.
Now that is absolutely factual, indeed. Yep. No, that is indeed. Now, but on a serious tip, though, anything that you're thinking about testing, just based on consumer behavior and what you know, and people when they enter these moments of scarcity and they're afraid, is there something that you would test or?
I think right now,
ideas?
I think at this moment it is a good time to, whatever you feel is your best skill, right? Best product, best service, whatever. I think right now is okay to go all in, as people still have a little bit of dough, a little bit of time, and a little bit of attention to what you have going on, right? Yeah. As far as experimenting, I just been on this experiment whatever you want on content and see what sticks. I just did like content therapy on my couch as a reel, and people are loving it, right?
Wow.
They're like, yo, this is great. I was like, oh, you notice this is something new, right? Just have fun in a time that it is scary. Have fun in a time that is uncertain.
Yeah.
Because you have to create relief for yourself, but as well from a money standpoint, like you have to have fun figuring out the content that's going to convert, the content that's going to make them feel safe and go one step further, but you can create with ease. So it's like, right now I'm just trying to find different themes of what to create, getting more in my bag of kind of like writing it out, see how it goes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So like, if I'm going to do this content therapy series, what questions would I go to a content therapist about? You feel me? Like, Didn't
That's
even know
dope.
that was it.
I like that.
You know,
I like
one of
that.
those things.
I like that. That's clever. I didn't know that you were doing that. That's really dope. I
It
like
just
that.
happened today. Literally.
Oh, really?
Just happened
Okay.
today. I was like, I always think of random stuff when I don't know what to post. I'm like, okay, I posted today. I've been on this like 2-a-day situation. I posted today. And now I feel like posting again. If I post too early, I always feel like I have to post again. Like, all right, what can I post? And I was on the couch and I was like, let me act like I'm going to therapy. Let me ask a question. So the next time I'm going to do it is I'm actually going to sit and be like this, capture that, and then ask my question. Yeah,
I love
gonna
it.
be-
I
it's gonna
love
be a whole
it.
thing.
I love it. All right. Well, I'm tuning in then. I didn't see it, but I'm gonna tune in. I'm waiting for my creative director to come back from a training because I got a couple pieces I need to put out. But I'm like, all right, I'm gonna wait till
shout
she
out
get
to the
back.
creative director at the
Yeah, I'm gonna
crib.
wait till she get back.
Shout out to the
Yeah,
creative
yeah.
director in the crib. I love her so much. I love her so much.
but she's
She
awesome. She's
listen
awesome.
for people who don't know. I will forever say this publicly. Moose's wife completely helped me become smart again. Okay, I credit her that, and the continuous growth of my mind is still because of her, and I will forever love her. For I don't even know if it worked. That's the funny thing about this. I took
Give
three
me the
things.
illusion that it did.
Right,
It's like,
right.
ooh,
I took
smarter.
3 things. I don't know if it was all of them or one of them, but all 3 I take every single day, and one of them was what his wife gave me, and I will credit her for the fix, the cure of brain fog. You know what I mean? The cure of brain fog.
That's it. That's it. I love it. I love it. Good talk. Good talk. It's on you, Nix.
Listen, do me a favor. Share the episode, okay? Not this episode. You can't share this episode. I want you to. But I want you to share the podcast episode mainly. Put it on your stories. Take a screenshot. Put it on your stories. Send it as a text. Do whatever you need, as well as we are almost at 10K, depending on when you watch this, 10K on our YouTube channel. If we've ever added value, please send this YouTube channel to someone. Share it on your Facebook, your Twitter, your LinkedIn. Those are the ones with the links. So I'm going to need you to do that. Or share it on your stories and add a link, okay? I'm asking for specific things today, okay? Because I need us to get to 10K. I said I wanted 10K by the end of May. We didn't get it. We're at like 9,700 and something, right? Still close, not there. So June, definitely need to make 10K, and only you guys can make that happen. And so that's all I ask. But we are out, people. We love you guys. Full episode drops Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. What's the West Coast time?
5.
5